God. I had another one of our little Wednesday night ones. We haven't had one for a few weeks because I've been a bit busy and one thing and another. But anyway, we're back on Wednesday tonight. Got Pete with me.
Hello, all right.
How you doing,
Right.
mate?
Yes, and mate. Bit of a rush to get in though.
Yeah, I know. Do you know what? It's that hour's time difference as well because it makes it dead late for me or early for you, But hey, you know what?
Yeah, well, I had to drop them, finish work and drop my daughter off at the dance training. Like they got this massive competition going on, like a Blackpool weekend. Well, I mean,
Okay.
if I said, oh, she's got a Blackpool weekend, you'd probably think it was a flipping rave, too, wouldn't you? It's, but now they're competing on like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's like a big national competition, and Jesus Christ, they're flipping put a shift in. You know what I mean? I'm very confident that they'll do all right. To be honest,
Yeah, what they
but
called again, Pete?
MDA, they're fucking brilliant. They are, mate.
Yeah, yeah. You
You,
keep
you
saying
remember the last bit of it, don't you?
you
It's
are.
just the MDA bit that you struggle with.
That's it. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. But
yeah.
but
That's
they're
good.
actually getting their own merchandise now, and it don't include MDA. They're fucking brilliant T-shirts, so quite gutting.
Oh, never mind. Uh,
Yeah,
I don't know where the third person is tonight.
or what genders we're going to see.
Who knows? We don't know. Apparently, got some trouble with some trees. That's all I know. So we'll see if he turns up.
Well, perhaps he's barking up the wrong one. You never know.
Did you see the Did you see the Stoke game?
I did, yes, yeah,
What did you
yeah,
reckon?
right. It's yeah. You have to understand that what me and you understand or whatever, but I think a lot of people don't. It's that whole thing about looking at comments again. Is there's two sides go out to try and win a football game, isn't there? And unless it's Blues playing Bristol at home and you got Wayne Rooney as in charge of you. Basically, Stoke turned up thinking, yeah, we can get something from this game. They're on a good run of form. I thought it was a fantastic result. There's a yes, we can because well, yeah, we didn't have the possession. Yeah, we sat back a bit and whatever. But I thought it was a tremendous result. I did.
It was a great result, and I think, like you said, I think Stoke have gone 5 games since Schumacher came, and they haven't lost. And but from when I started watching it, and I was making these comments in our admin group, because when we watch it, we got like an admin and moderators group, and we just make a few comments. And Kim, I don't know if you know Kim, like she's a commentator for Birmingham Hospital Radio, so she's in the press box
That's
and
Kim
blah.
Upton, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is she,
So
is she married to that flipping Villa clown, Phil Upton?
I don't know.
Oh,
She's kept it quiet if she is.
yeah, well, she would do being in a blues group, wouldn't she?
Well, she's a moderator.
Oh, sorry, I'll be getting banned now. Phil's a lovely bloke, really, Kim. Don't worry.
But she's so like we have this chat, like as the game going on, what you think, that was close and all that. And I said from the very start there, you know what, we're defending a bit deep, and I thought we were all the way through.
Yeah,
And if
yeah,
people were saying like the midfielders weren't doing that well, and they weren't transitioning the ball very well. But you know what it was? The defenders were too deep, and there was too big a gap between them. And that
yeah,
ball kept going loose all the time, didn't it, in the middle of the park?
yeah.
Yeah. And I think Mowbray wanted them to defend higher, but I think it's just it's in their DNA at the moment. And if they go in front, they've got to get behind the ball.
Yeah, I mean, Mowbray's nobody's fool, is he? And I mean, his after-match comments summed it up perfectly, didn't he? So as soon as we got that second goal, the mindset is let's not go, let's get a third and kill the game. It's let's
defend it.
Settle for what we got. Now he can shout and scream all he wants from the touchline. That's been ingrained in him, hasn't it? And it will take time to
definitely
bear fruit.
Yeah, I think Chris Bielik's an interesting one playing him at centre half, because he's what they need because he's more likely to come out. He'll bring the ball out. He can pass the ball. He's a footballer and he's got good vision. And Kevin Long's been brilliant, but he's no Chris Bielik in terms of his footballing.
Yeah, I agree. You can actually understand that Bielik would be a good fit, wouldn't it?
I think he'd make a good captain as well at some point.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's a nice bloke as well.
Did you? I don't suppose. Did you see any of the Leicester Ipswich game?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Right. I don't think. I think it's a free hit Saturday anyway. I mean, you want to win every game, don't you? You can say, well, yeah, you got 5,000 fans coming and this, that, and the other. But Leicester are a far better team going forward than they are going the other way.
I agree with that. Yeah, they are. And they didn't look brilliant. They looked really good at times. But then again, they didn't look that great at times. And they weren't that great at St Andrews, were they, really?
Well, I mean, they got some Premiership quality up front, haven't they?
Yeah,
And I mean,
great players, yeah.
Much as I hate his moustache, that Dewsbury Hall's a player. But it's almost like that everything sailed away with it. That game at Coventry might have knocked a bit of stuffing out of them, especially with all the build up to, well, I mean, it's a funny place, Leicester, isn't it, sort of thing. I mean, what do you call a native of Leicester? What are they? Well, from Fox Killers, what do you call them? Leicesterian or something.
Something like that.
And like they have to go and beg a rivalry, don't they? It's like they go up the road to Derby. Hey, Derby, can we be your rival? Derby say, no, fuck off. We're Forest. So then they'll go to Forest. Hey, Forest, can we be your rival? So, no, fuck off. We got Derby we don't like. So they're stuck then, aren't they? Oh, let's have a look round. Who can we try? Oh, yeah, Coventry. Hey, Coventry, can we be your rival? Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. What should we call ourselves? The M69 Derby. Just to try and make some sort of like relevance. I mean, it really is. I mean, I take it you've been to Leicester a few times, or yeah, got some good tales about that place, I tell you. But no, it's a funny area of the country. I mean, what do you call yourself? A central East Midlander.
East Midlands Derby, but it's not. Coventry's not East Midlands, is it?
No. And I mean, to be fair, they punch above the weight in a lot of things, don't they? Like
who, Coventry or Leicester?
Leicester, in the fact that they produced Richard and David Attenborough, didn't they? So,
well, Gary Lineker.
They produced the director of the BBC, Gary Lineker, as well.
Yeah.
Willie Thorne at snooker. Tony Simpson at boxing. I mean, they play to them. They do punch above the weight.
Yeah.
But I just think they struggle with their identity a bit.
I think we can beat them.
I honestly do. If we go there, like they're going to quote somebody here, but the no fear football, what have we got to worry about? People are expecting us to get turned over. The way I was watching that game, the Ipswich game, their arse was going a bit Leicester towards the end. When Ipswich, if Ipswich took a bit more care of the ball in the final third, they're not unbeatable.
Yeah, I think because what I think, I know people are saying, that we're going to get fucking hammered and blah blah blah, but Leicester are going to play a second string team on Saturday. I'm pretty sure of that, and it's quite good that they lost at Coventry and they drew at Ipswich, because they will want some sort of result to pick themselves back up again. If they were to draw or get beat by us, they're on a 3-game run when they've only won one. Well, they haven't won a game, So I think they'll play a second string team. I do, just to protect the championship push.
Yeah.
So I think they'll be there for the taking, but I think they will think they can beat us with half a team out. The only problem is then they're going to have a really strong bench. So it's one of those things, isn't it? You know, yeah, yeah. But I'm looking forward to it. I was going to tell you about the Stoke City thing when I was a kid. So, oh bloody hell, I can't remember. I must have been about 12 or 13. Me and my white mate went to watch Blues away at Stoke. So we got to the old Victoria ground. Remember the big car park on the side?
I do. I absolutely used to love going to Victoria Ground.
But we got there early, like really early. We was kids, weren't we? We'd never really traveled, you know. So we got to the ground and we're hanging around outside about 3 hours before the fucking kickoff, like. And this lad comes out of the seats, that like the entrance to the seats. Fucking looks around and he goes, "Come in." So he goes, "Do you want to go in?" I go, like, "What do you mean?" Go on, give it. I can't remember how much it was. Like, give us fucking a tenner or something, like. Fucking go in, go in, and then just fucking hide, you know. So we fucking sneaked in, like, got up to the steps, up to the seats, fucking looking out on the pitch. Fucking great, like, you know, we're in. Fucking old Bill come out onto the pitch. And they're all having their orders, like, you know. And we went,
Yeah.
fucking hell, it's the police. Oh, fuck, like, you know. What are we going to do anyway? Like, we absolutely shit it. We fucking scrambled down and we had to break out.
I suppose,
Just shit ourselves, you know, and we got out to car parks and fuck for that, like, you know. So.
like your kid's mindset is saying that all these coppers are here because they know you're in the ground. Yeah.
I don't know what it was, but I was thinking about it the other day. Every time we play Stoke, I think about that. But there's been some nasty times at Stoke, in there.
Oh well, it's proper old school place. You know what I mean? I mean, it's a bit of a pain in the arse to get from the station up to the ground. There's some cracking boozers around there. The one at the back of their old end, these boover men called the Gardeners. That was a cracking boozer, that was. And then you could get in their supporters club as well, which was a nice place to go and have a tot away from the madness that was ensuing outside sometimes. But
The naughty 40.
yeah. They're another lot. I think I'll put a post in the project group, like, their accent is the worst accent in it. Absolutely great. You just can't take anybody serious who speaks in a Stoke accent. Just,
I
yeah,
used to work in Stoke.
really,
I used to work in Yarnfield, which is near Stone, but they're all Stoke supporters.
yeah.
You know, and they all go up Hanley for a fucking drink and all that, like, all Stoke fans. I remember when they got promoted to the Premiership for the first time, it was like, fucking hell, like, because they'd been dormant for years, hadn't they?
Yeah.
You know, since they won the League Cup in, I don't know, 72.
72, that was, yeah.
George Eastham and Jimmy
Yeah.
Greener.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, so Saturday, I think we're going to have a little go there at Leicester and see what happens in the transfer window. I don't know if I wonder if JJ is going to go.
Well, it's one of them, in it, that it hasn't been ruled out. What do you reckon the ceiling is if someone comes in with a bid that he'll go?
I mean, I know what I would. If it was me, anything north of 7, I would have.
Yeah.
Because it enables to do them a lot. I mean, the thinking behind it is, like, so if you get 7 million for him, then all right, you got 7 million that you could spend if you wanted to. But actually, if you played it clever, you could get 18 million pounds worth of players. I don't know if you've seen that piece I did in the project.
Yeah.
With a bit of clever accounting, all they would do is make sure the buying club paid up front, have a few add-ons, or be a bit gentle on the add-ons if they pay up front, and then say buy just say, for instance, we wanted to buy 3 £6 million players, 2 million on each of them, right?
Yeah.
Down payment, balance in the summer, or another 2 payments, one in the summer, one in the, you know, so it misses this lot of FFP. So we could like really have £18 million worth of players to sell one player for 8 and still have 2 million left to cover the additional wages, because the wages are going to be the other thing. So if you've got 3 new players coming in and you're only getting rid of one, and JJ's not going to be on a lot of money.
No.
Your 3 new players probably be big earners. So you want to save a little bit back from that 8 million or whatever. So I reckon with 8 million, it would enable us to do something like that. And I've heard a few people like reckon that's the way to go with these sort of things. And I think it is. I think we'll get 3 really good players now if we wanted them.
Right.
It depends if the will is there to sell JJ, you know.
Well, what would you say his best position is?
I don't know.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like people who's got an eye for goal and can score goals from midfield, they are the gold dust of football, aren't they?
They are, yeah.
Would you say that his best, therefore his best position is playing further forward, or although, but then you hear people saying, "Oh, well, he's better trying to control the game," or I honestly don't know. You told me now. Where's his best position? I couldn't tell you.
Well, I've got a funny feeling he might go for start off.
Yeah.
I think he's better. To me, he hasn't been that brilliant. He's got much better in the last 3 months or so. He seems a lot physically stronger now. So, you know, he's a bigger bloke, isn't he now? You know, he's strong. He's not easy to knock off the ball. His passing has got better. You want him somewhere. For me, his best position is probably like the defensive midfielder. But like you said, he's starting to score goals, so you probably want to get him forward.
Exactly.
But the way I'm reading it is that so Mowbray is dropping Chris Bielik back into the back 4. That's going to leave that gap there that would probably be filled by JJ. That defensive mid. But he's bought Andre Dozzell in to do that job. So I'm thinking he's already covering JJ's position. I could just be seeing more into it than there is there. I don't know. Because we're awash with midfielders. So if we play JJ in one of those front 4 positions, who are we going to leave out, you know?
And how about, like, you know, I mean, I love the way was building up, Mowbray was building up Miyoshi sort of thing. I mean, he's pleasing on the eye, and Miyoshi, you know, he's got a lovely first touch and everything about it. But there again, where's his best position? I think when we Stansfield scored that goal when we lost up at Preston, sort of thing, and you got Miyoshi playing just behind him, playing him in. I thought he's cemented. This is his role. Yeah. And the goal at Stoke was practically almost like an identical one, weren't it? Where he's played Stansfield through, he's cut back across the bloke and got a bit of a 4-foot rebound and smashed it in the net. So would you say Miyoshi is more a bit effective playing that inside?
He is effective playing it, but then you've got to think who you're going to sacrifice for it. So for me, there's a couple of people still that aren't quite firing properly for me in the way that Mowbray wants them to play. Dembele holds the ball up too much. He tries to go past players too often when there's an easy pass. And Bakuna is very similar. The amount of times on Saturday when Bakuna had like a 2-meter pass and he tries to do something really clever with it, you know, and it looks great when it comes up. And then you have a moan at him and then he scores that fucking free kick, which is out of this world, you know.
Yeah.
And it's what you get with those sort of players. You can never tell them not to do it because they know how fucking good they are, you know. And they want to show you how good they are. It's frustrating, but do you leave them out, you know?
Well, you know what I mean. It's everything's a gamble, isn't it, with Bakuna, because you just don't know, you don't know what you're going to get, do you?
The good thing with Bakuna is, though, he's very versatile as well. So as a squad player, you can play him pretty much everywhere. Dembele is Dembele. He's an absolutely wonderful footballer. He's got some amazing tricks. He likes to show the tricks off a little bit too much, in my opinion. And he hasn't been defending well enough, although I think Mowbray's give him that rocket. But the other thing you got to look at then, do we keep persisting with Stansfield? I know that sounds like a stupid thing to say because he scored 9 goals, but he's going to be going in 3 months.
Yeah.
So would we bench him and would we try and work without him for the time being? It's a stupid thing to say because I know we're not going to bench him, but you have to think about Stansfield is leaving. People on the project are asking now, is he going to stay? He's not. We're not going to buy Stansfield. It's not going to happen. Fulham gave him a 5-year contract before he came to us.
Yeah, for that very reason that they want to.
He's going nowhere.
Yeah. I think, like, realistically this season, to get to 50 points, we've got to win 6 more games, haven't we? Like, what, we're on 32 now, ain't we? You look at our fixtures there. Here comes Mr. Negative again. But every team who's below us, all 4 of them teams who are below us, we got to go and play away there. If we can not get beat and win 2 of them, that's job done near enough, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think until you've got them points in the bag, you've got to play your best team, and Stansfield is part of our best option at the
minute. I definitely. Sorry, Pete.
Yeah, get yourself safe, and then I hear exactly what you're saying about him. I mean, who's going to benefit from him stopping in the side when we're safe? Not us.
No, and the thing is, we have got some really good players, and that sounds a bit crazy, but we have. We've still got Ethan Laird to come back. We've got players that are really versatile across the back 4. Now, I've got to. It'd be interesting to see if any of the loans go back. I mean, personally, I think Avu and Chris Burke should be going back. I think, and that tells you everything about what Mowbray wants, because Avu isn't playing, and he's converting a midfielder into a centre back.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's any point in keeping him, because you've got the 2 fullbacks, Buchanan and Laird, who can both play left and right, and Buchanan can play centre half as well. So we're well blessed in that area, and also don't forget Bakuna can double up as a right back. We've seen him do it. So I think we're quite rich with the players we've got. It's just a shame that a lot of them are made of glass.
Yeah. And that's the reason we was able to get them in for the price that we did, though, isn't it?
Yeah, what do you think of Roberts?
Right. I love the fact Mowbray, when he came in, he says, okay, everyone will get a chance. But it's so blindingly obvious that the kid ain't up to speed yet. But we have to have someone to have a go at, don't we? And it's almost like you just get that feeling that he's the next taxi on the rank, as the
especially if Chris Burke goes.
Well, that's it. If Burke ain't there, who are we going to have a moan at this week? Oh yeah, that Roberts, he's done nothing or whatever. I think that there is some quality there, but how many goals are you going to score in a season? It's just supposing miracle, and he turns his whole career around and he stays fit for 30 games out of a season. He ain't like a natural goal scorer. What's his position?
I watched him I seen him play when he came over here when he came over to Spain, and they played they played Cartagena, and he actually played really well. He sort of plays just left. He just plays off for centre forward or with you know, with someone up behind him. But he's a nice player, and he can drop deep as well. So he scored a great goal as well, a really nice left footer, you know. But not enough to see of him in one game against you know, not the best Spanish team. So I don't
yeah,
know.
but it's almost like you know, oh well, yeah, he's made a glass. He ain't for us. People's already made their mind up. Now, if Mowbray can give people a clean slate, why can't some of our fans? You know what I
Doesn't
mean?
happen, mate. It's like Hogan, you know. Everyone a couple of weeks ago, there was a little like one game period where everyone was saying he played well. I was like, what the fuck's going on here? Like people
Yeah,
saying he played well, but it wouldn't take them long to turn on him again.
no,
You can
we
see, you
we
know,
all
and I don't know what it is with our fans. We've got that really negative element of our fans that don't seem to stop.
no. It's almost like they're not happy unless they're unhappy, are they? You know, there's always someone who's gonna cop for it.
Yeah, and I don't think we've. I think without like the whole, and I don't keep talking about Rooney, but without the whole Rooney thing, I think it would have been a. You know, for instance, if Eustace had gone and Mowbray had come in, I think we would have seen a completely different season.
Yeah,
It's that period of 3 months where basically we've done nothing. We've gone backwards, and it's like starting again halfway through the season.
but I must admit, like Mowbray, he's a great talker, isn't he? And I haven't heard him say anything or that I've disagreed with. Even that thing that after the like Dembele scored against Swansea and whatever, I thought, well, hang on, you're hanging him out to dry here a bit. We used to get mad at Rooney for doing this, but it's almost like he was more bothered about the chances that he'd missed, which he did. You know what I mean? He could have had a hat trick really, and
Yeah.
perhaps should have, but rather than praise him for the one that he put away, he was sort of like saying, well, you know, you ain't the finished article, son. Perhaps just, you know, like it's that whole experience, isn't it? Some people need a kick up the arse, others need a shoulder around the,
Uh,
you know,
uh,
arm around the shoulder, don't they?
What I think with the way he does it is that he's quite willing to sort of have a little knock at them whilst telling them how really good they could be. So he would say, like with Dembele, he scored a goal. He was absolutely brilliant. Sometimes his football is breathtaking, but he could be so much better, you know. So it's sort of putting him down a little bit, but then saying you could be fucking brilliant, like, you know, and he does that quite a lot, and I think he's good at it. Whereas Rooney would just say, you know, they were shit or something, you know.
Yeah.
But and I think it looks like Ashley Cole's starting to get more involved as well, doesn't it?
Well, what talk about giving people a chance and a clean slate? I mean, to me, I weren't having him. You know, I got to admit, what do I know about what goes on a training ground anyway? But him and O'Shea and whatever, they sat behind Rooney there doing nothing. He seemed to be just smirking
On
away
the
behind
phones.
him, so not interested. I thought, oh well, yeah. As soon as Rooney's gone, get them two clowns off with you. But he seems to have come to the party, don't he? And now, if he's good enough for Mowbray, he's good enough for me.
He's
He knows
getting
more about
involved more. And
football
the
than I
very
forgot.
first game, Mowbray's very first game, which was, can't remember. Oh, no, it wasn't. It was Steve Spooner's game.
The whole Holloway one, yeah, that's
Yeah,
right. That's when he suddenly started.
Cole was in his ear all the time. And I quite liked it because Spooner was obviously taking a lot from him. If
Yeah,
Spooner had sort of brushed him off a little bit or, you know, like whatever, but he wasn't. Spooner, you know, and he was looking and he was listening to him. And I think that's a good thing. And I think Cole decided there, and then he's going to have a go. The thing was, people are saying, why didn't they fuck them both off? They've both got contracts.
yeah.
So I
That's
think
the
the way it's worked is quite well. Once O'Shea knew he wasn't going to get a payday, he fucked off anyway.
yeah,
And I think Cole thought Mowbray's fucking a good manager. Mark Venus is fucking a really good foil for Mowbray, and there's probably room for a third person in there. He could have a great career there, you know.
But it's almost like in my mind thinking, well, okay, rather than have him as for the whole picture, which obviously Mowbray and Venus have got their own ideas about things. If he could get a tune out of fullbacks who got a lot of talent and sort out how they're supposed to play under this Mowbray way of playing, is well worth keeping in because no one's got more experience about playing that sort of role than him, have they?
No, I mean he was a fucking great. I fucking hated him as a player,
Yeah,
but he was a great player. You know, I remember when we went to the first Premier League game at Highbury. Yeah. Fucking hell, we gave him some stick, didn't we? Like, you know.
Well, he got Suso sent off, didn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
And he sort of like laughed at us, you know, just doing one of these bloody pretend dives and whatever, and like turn around and smirked at us, you little shit, yeah.
Fucking wanker.
Yeah, but no, it's, you know, the bloke's a serial winner. Yeah. His record speaks for itself. If he can translate that on his coaching side into making your dramas, your Lairds, your Buchanans fit into whatever system Mowbray wants from his wife. So I tell you what, hasn't it been blindingly obvious how higher up the pitch dramas played since Mowbray's been here?
It has, yeah, and I think that's something they've got to keep doing. The difficulty with that, Pete, is if the centre backs drop deep, if the fullbacks don't go with them, it leaves massive fucking gaps. So they're sort of dragged back, you know. But Drama's a good player, isn't
he? Yeah.
You know, I'd love to get him at the end of the season. I just don't know if we're going to or not. He's more reliable than Ashley Cole. He's more reliable than Ethan Laird, simply because Ethan Laird's injuries, you know. But I like the way Mowbray brings them together. That the way it's like he's a bit cuddly, Mowbray, the way he does stuff. Like, you know, so like I don't know if you heard what he said about Bakuna. You know, he said he's a great player. He said, like, you know, I rub his head and tickle his tummy. And he goes away happy, you know. And you think it's a fucking great way of fucking explaining it, in it, you know.
Yeah, it's got man management, isn't it? Like I say, for Dembele may have needed the kick up the arse. Bakuna needs his tummy tickled. You do what you got to do to get a tune out of him, don't you?
Yeah, and then I was talking to him, I don't know if you seen him when I was talking to him about Ethan Laird, you know, and he said, obviously, he hasn't played with it. He hasn't played under Mowbray yet. And he said, well, you know, you always know Laird's around because you hear him first. So instead of thinking he's a fucking big mouth wanker, like, you know, Laird, because you can imagine Laird would do your head in a bit. He goes, it's fucking great to have characters like that around. You know, you love them people. You know he's there before he arrives. You know, it's not bigging him up. And it's good that is because Laird obviously hasn't had a lot to do with it yet. But you can imagine he's a big character in the dressing room, Ethan Laird.
It's a funny thing, though, isn't it? Like, I mean, with I know we hate to keep talking about Rooney and whatever, but there was some of the stuff that Rooney said that I didn't disagree with. You know, that whole thing of that if you are being shit, you need to be, you know, you can't dress up. Oh, well, yeah, you're unlucky there. But perhaps the place to bawl them out wasn't in front of the press.
Or there's a better way of doing it, you know. Because nobody likes being told they're shit, but you can tell someone they're shit probably in a better way. You know, like we were saying then about, you know, Dembele scored a fucking great goal, but he missed 3 or 4. So you can say that was an absolutely brilliant goal. You're such a talented player, but you just fucked those 3 up, you know. Imagine what you could do if you scored those 3. Imagine how brilliant you would be. You know, it's that sort of
That's it, yeah.
approach. And I don't think Rooney's got that in his makeup. He isn't. Perhaps he's had people kissing his ass for too long. I don't know.
Well, it was quite funny because it was almost like with Troy Deeney, it was sort of like Rooney Mark II situation, wasn't it?
Fucking amazing that was, wasn't it?
Only I thought what the way he was with that flipping Darbo bloke, you know, one kick away from getting in the Premier League, and now
And
you
now he wouldn't get the National League.
yeah, you know, that was a bit naughty, but that's Deeney all over, isn't it?
It is him, you know, it's how he is. But I think I think he probably did that interview too soon after the game.
Yeah.
Because he's standing there with a fucking gun in his mouth, wasn't he? You know, you're thinking to yourself, there's no way this bloke can walk in that dressing room again.
Yeah. Anyway, changing the subject a bit now then. So with this Leicester game, right? So we had this situation where we had an initial allocation and then we got 5,000 tickets. They disappeared, bosh, gone. Happy days. And then everything's all been full of, like, with the social media. Oh, well, if you weren't one of them 5,000, you don't deserve to go anyway. Which I thought was a bit harsh because everyone's circumstances are different. You know, I thought that we had the fairest way of distributing tickets that there was with this platinum, gold, and whatever. It's almost like once you're on that fairy ground, the fairground, you know what I mean? You stay on it, don't you? And it's how it should be. That it's a piece of piss. You go to all the games, all the ones nobody else wants to. You're guaranteed a ticket. So I'm sort of like, yeah, well, fair enough. Like, you know, everyone's all sorted who should be sorted for Leicester. And then what's happened, flipping, this week with West Brom? What the hell's gone on there?
It's a ticketing cock up by someone. Now, I don't know whether it's Samir, I think that's his name, in the ticket office.
Yeah.
I don't know, because people are saying, well, email him. And he's going, well, you know, he's in charge of it. So if you email him and complain, he's not going to bollock himself. You know, he's just going to whatever and try and sort it. But what happened was, instead of doing the platinums first, they put them together. Didn't they? They put the platinum and the gold at the same time. And then that left. If you weren't platinum and you didn't do it straight away, you could end up without a ticket. And that's what happened.
Yeah, well, I could understand them doing that when they got 5,000 tickets to shift, sort of thing. But when you're only given an allocation of 2,000,
yeah,
surely, you know, you would have.
Have you heard the outcome of it today?
No, I haven't. No.
Well, I was talking to Pete Bevins earlier, and a few other people that have emailed the club. Really had a go. You know, a lot of people are upset by this, and they've had a go at the ticket office. Some people have emailed. Well, they didn't email Jeremy Dale, I think, but Jeremy Dale got involved at some point. So what Jeremy Dale has done is he's more or less made sure that everyone that's got a platinum has got a ticket. So apparently, now I don't know how much my heart bleeds for this or not. I'm not sure. They've taken tickets off the players' families and blah 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 to furnish the platinum the platinum members with tickets. Now, I don't know, probably you know, like I know, a lot of tickets go out in loads of different directions. It ain't just family and friends, you know. There's a lot of things that go on. So I think drag tickets back because they've got themselves into the shit with this, and it's not a good way of doing it. And so what Jeremy Dahl has said today is that won't happen again. They will never put gold and platinum out together again. Makes sense, really, you know.
You thought it would have made sense from the get-go. I can't understand how, for the life of me, that can suddenly be a cock-up.
Like well, somebody's dropped a bollock, haven't they, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. And they've got this new lad there now as well, haven't they? That's taken over from me and Dutton. This lad from Blackpool, you know, and I don't think he's he's not going to take out. He's not going to be a managing director. He's going to be like a commercial manager or something like along those lines. He's not going to be the MD. So but he's in there at the moment amongst it all. You know, getting to know the staff and working with the office.
Welcome to Birmingham. Yeah.
So, you know, the first three little things you got to deal with is sort the disabled facilities out, get the fucking pies hot and the tea warm for half time, and get the ticketing right. That's your first three little things to do with, like, you know.
Yeah. Not much to ask, is it, for a ticket office to?
We shoot ourselves in the foot, Pete, don't we? You know, all the time.
Yeah, but why did we only get 2,000 tickets for Albion? How many did we give them? Is that one of them tit for tat things? Or
I think it's supposed to be reciprocal, but I'm honestly not sure because they will probably release more. What they do is they'll release the initial 2,000 and make sure they sell them, and then release more if if we need them. So there probably will be more tickets released. It's not going to stop at 2,000, but you can see people panicking if they ain't got a ticket. I mean, they're all over the project now. Everybody wants a ticket for Leicester, and everybody now is desperate for Albion, you know.
Yeah. Well, mind you, I mean, if Albion lose to Wolves, they'll all go back under the rocks and they'll be hiding for a month, won't they, Albion fans? So there might be a few flipping
you know what? They're having a fucking great season.
I tell you what, it surprised me how well Albion have done after watching them. Okay, we got a bit of luck with that bloody penalty, but I don't think much of them at all. But it's no surprise to me to see Southampton haven't lost for, 22 games, created a club record. Leeds right up there, Leicester flying away with it. The three teams that come down are the three that's.
I think the three that will go up, I do, because I think what will happen is Leeds will win the playoffs. And I think Southampton and Leicester will go up. Southampton are a strong side, aren't they? You know, and you can't see them on beating Leeds in the playoffs, but you never know with that. It's a lottery, you know, but you never know. But Leeds are a good side, aren't they?
Yeah, I think the only thing that will stop Leeds going up, either automatic or playoffs, is Leeds themselves with the pressure that puts itself under.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think with the Albion, they've got a fantastic manager. You know, I think Carlos Corberán's a fucking great manager. I think without him this season, they would have been in the ship because Albion ain't got a pot to piss in. You know.
No, their finances are all over the shop, aren't they?
Well, they're going to be the new us, I think, next season.
They've got on paper, isn't it, that they've got like one of the richest men in football.
Means nothing.
No.
It's like someone was saying on the project the other day. So, well, you know, but you know, somebody comes in January and puts in. So what happens then? I'm saying you can't spend any money. You know, people just can't get it through their head. He said, well, so what if someone comes in and puts 10 million in? I said, it doesn't make any fucking difference. You can't spend it because you've got to balance the books. That's the whole point of it, is to stop someone putting 10 million in and spending it. You know what I mean? It's so hard. And it is a hard thing to understand. But you don't know how many times I have to fucking reiterate that.
I do laugh, yeah. Sorry, Steve, I'm laughing at your expense, but every time I see them comments, I can just picture you going, for fuck's sake.
And I feel I have to comment, you know. Instead of sometimes it's funny, like, because Rebecca sometimes will go on and I'll be in one of those, like, listen, but, and I'll just look and the fucking comments have been turned off. And I'll get a message from her saying, just fucking like put the muzzle on you, more or less, like, you know.
Yeah. So now with obviously we were due to play Middlesbrough Saturday. That's gone by the by. The next scheduled Saturday home game is going to be Sunderland, which is February the
13th, is it?
Something like that, yeah. But perhaps I'm reading too much into it, but those tickets haven't gone on sale yet. And I think I did.
Someone was asking about that today
because of the whole Sunderland in turmoil and almost like in our situation,
You
sort of
couldn't
thing.
make it up,
They've
could
got a
you?
manager they didn't like. Who's in charge of Blues now? Mowbray. It's almost got almost like an X factor. Oh, let's shove that game on the box. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if that one ends
Absolutely.
up getting moved.
I don't think you could make it up with the way Sunderland is, because I was reading. Yeah, I've joined a couple of Sunderland fan groups over the last month or so just to get the feel on Mowbray, and seriously, it's so much like our situation with Rooney. They just don't fucking like him, you know. And they're saying get out of our club, but I mean, really, he hasn't done an awful lot wrong. He's won 2 games.
Yeah,
I think they've won 2, drawn 1, and lost 3 or something like that. You know, it's not disastrous. It ain't great, but they just don't like him.
no.
And especially when you've got, and it's so similar to our situation when they've sacked a manager that everyone likes.
Yeah, when okay, yeah, ours was only after flipping 10 games or whatever, but yeah, I think they was sixth, weren't they, or something?
Yeah, it's
Almost
just
the
so
same thing.
similar.
They've been doing well, then they had a bit of a drop off, and then he won the game before he got sacked.
Yeah.
It's almost like uncanny, in it? The way,
So similar to us because exactly what we did.
yeah,
But you know, reading between the lines and looking behind the scenes at Sunderland, I think it's Christian Speakman that's done all this. You know, and you got to wonder, like Job's situation there now as well, because he went with Speakman when he went from the Blues to Sunderland. Now, apparently, when he was there, all Speakman wants to do is become a director of football, and sure enough, I think he's manoeuvred it so that he became that man. And then,
yeah,
and then when they're in that position, they want their own man. Then, a bit like Blues did. So he fucked off Mowbray, bought in Beale, who wasn't. You know, like he hasn't had a bad career, but he hasn't really done anything. Like
no,
Rangers, he didn't do anything
yeah.
really. Uh, QPR,
It's, I think, on the back of a reasonable start at QPR, he got the Rangers job, didn't he? But they weren't the finished article, QPR, by any stretch of the imagination. And
yeah, and then QPR committed suicide by putting Gareth Ainsworth in charge. Like, you know,
yeah.
the fuck.
Oh, I don't know. Um,
But I think Speakman's had a lot to do with that. And then so he's now got himself in a position where the fans don't like him either, because what they're doing is associating Speakman with Beale. So it's a club in turmoil at the moment. And they've got people, and I think Real Madrid, reading between the lines, are interested in getting Job there, probably just in case he turns out to be really good, you know. But I think he's lost his way a little bit. Watching him, I watched Sunderland play. Who was it on Saturday?
they played Hull, didn't they, when they lost and all the crowd got on?
Yeah,
Uh,
that's it. Yeah, and
yeah,
Joe didn't have a good game. You know, I don't think anyone did. What you know, they did actually. That lad that we're interested in, what's his name?
Pritchard.
Pritchard. Yeah, he had a good game.
Yeah,
And he's a strong player, isn't he? It'd
yeah,
be nice to get him. I just don't think we're going to get him. I don't think they'll deal with us.
no, no.
I don't. You know, but we'll see what happens. And it's interesting when you look at it's like a fucking big merry-go-round football, isn't it?
Yeah,
And what goes around sort of comes around. And I think what's going to make and break our season is the next week in terms of the transfer market.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like you say, I think we got enough to stay up, but that has to be the priority. I mean, people shouldn't get carried away. But hey, ho, the football fans and your dream, don't you? Oh, whoa, yeah, let's get on a run. And
I can't help it. I think we're going to get 70 points and make the playoffs. You know.
yeah, but let's keep our heads above water. Let's get past that
Get
50
paid.
points, and then we can plan for the future. But I've never been more happy with the bloke in charge to steer us on that path to calmer waters than the bloke we've got in at the moment.
I think he's brilliant, and if you look all the way through the club now, the under-21s, the ladies are doing brilliantly, the ladies play West Ham tonight.
Yeah.
In the cup, and that's going to be a big game because they're like women's Premier League, aren't they? So this is going to be a big challenge for the ladies tonight. And I think if they do it, that ladies like championship, if you like, is so wide open at the moment. We've got a game in hand, I think, but we're playing so well. So that'll be a good one. The under-21s are playing well. They got knocked out of the cup at the weekend. They got beat 3-0 by Palace.
Yeah.
They're a good side, Palace, But I think all the way through the club at the moment, things are looking much, much better. And if we all get on that same sort of, and they all play a similar style of football, so I think it'd be great all the way through the football club at the minute. All we need is for the big team to fucking do well because everyone else is doing great.
Now, I don't want to cause a bit of controversy with Bex or whatever.
What you're going to?
I think you know where this one's going to lead, right? So for the game tonight, the pricing, I think it's £1, isn't it?
Yeah, it's £1.
Yeah. Where I work at the QE, we got these charity things, and I could have gone tonight, and it would have been free. Wouldn't have cost me a penny. Same again. They're playing London City on Sunday. Again, that's free. I'm actually going to go along to that one.
And that's one we'll win. London are struggling.
Like we've always talked about that whole, how are we going to get fans through and the pricing and this, that, and the other.
Can't fucking do any less than that, can you?
If they give away tickets, which they practically are, would how much more enticement do you think there is out there, or appetite there is out there for the women's game?
I think you've got to fire.
Can't give tickets away.
I think you've got to fire people's imagination with it first. Get involved with it a little bit. I've got to be honest. First one to put my hands up. I didn't know that much about them, but having Bex working with us and us doing quite a bit in the project with the ladies, I've got to know a lot more about them. And I've watched a lot more ladies football. It isn't the same as men's football, but there's nothing wrong with it. It's quite entertaining. I quite enjoy it. You do get the odd, like, really poor, really bad mistake, like, a keeper will make but it's not, they're good, and the actual
women's quite good, isn't it?
Yeah, the women's top division. I forget who it was. One of them got like 60,000.
Yeah,
Arsenal, I think that might have been. But they get really big gates. All you got to do is crack that and get. But there's only one place. There's only one promotion place, and we just missed out last season.
Yeah.
And if you look at the top of that division now, it's really, really close. There's about, I don't know, 2 points that separate the top six. But we're on a great run. We're unbeaten for ages, except for that cup game in the week.
I mean, it'll only be my second time of going to watch the ladies, and I'm not going to lie, I'm going on Sunday because it's a free ticket.
Yeah.
The other time I went is when Blues got to Wembley in the Women's FA Cup final. We got 4-1 by Man City, I think it was. That you don't know when the next chance of watching Blues at Wembley was ever going to be, did you?
Yeah, and I think with the thing with giving the pound, like charging £1 and giving lots of freebies away, is to try and get some people in there, because what happens is, Pete, you go tomorrow and watch that game. It could be a really entertaining game, but if it's a big, echoey, empty stadium and it's cold and whatever, it just puts a fucking downer on it, doesn't it? You need that atmosphere to be created, and it's there would be something said probably for Blues playing in a smaller ground. I don't know, in Warsaw or something, or I don't know, just off the top of my head, just to.
We did play at Solihull Moors for a season, didn't we, or a couple of seasons?
And it wouldn't have hurt, Solihull Moors. It holds about 5,000, I think.
Yeah.
And it probably would be fine because you can get a bit of atmosphere. But the club want to and the club want to bring the girls into the stadium, and they want to want them to wear the same kit, which they do, and they want them to be exactly the same as the men, and it's fair enough. But the thing is, it's up to them to get people in the stadium.
Yeah, I mean, they're playing nice football and they're winning games, and that's my whole point. Really, is what more can they do? Is the appetite out there? Is
They've got
that
to
whole?
get they've got to get promoted.
We've always turned around and said about with since they've done the ground up that they've dropped a bollock by not having some sort of ticket incentive to get the bums back on the seats
I
rather than
think
having
so. I'm not a financial fucking wizard.
and what would be the right price to choose, or have we got to go down the option of getting into the schools and communities and so be it, give tickets away?
I think so. It was like I think we had the conversation
Yeah.
before where it's like the ticketing now where you've got the I don't know, like gold members, platinum members, or what maybe what we was talking about earlier, and who got the tickets first and who got them second. I think there has to be a pool of tickets that aren't allocated anywhere,
Yeah.
because you need to draw new people in. And it's not saying St Andrews is for all the time, but let a few people travel that don't usually travel. Let them get the bug for going and watching them away, and then you've got to try and induce people. And I know some people that regularly go away will lose their place, but in a way, and I'll probably get shot for this because I don't mean it in this way, but you could say people that go to every away game are a bit selfish, that have the platinum memberships. I'm not saying they don't deserve it, and it's absolutely brilliant support. But when you've only got 2,000 tickets and you've got 4,000 people that want to go, you could say, you know what, fucking give up. So I think that I know no one's going to do that, But
Yeah.
if you have this bank of tickets, particularly for away games that don't have a lot of that don't cater for a lot of away supporters, then have a little bit of a bank of tickets that perhaps newbies could go on, or just a little margin. So every away game gets a certain amount of people that haven't travelled before. Something like that. I don't know. This is something for the club to work out. But by staying the way it is, with the limited amount of tickets that you get, it's not going to get much better, because we have got a good away following. There's no doubt about that. It's just the home crowds that aren't great.
Well, this is it. This is what we need to try and build on, isn't it? And I really am at a loss. I always thought, well, yeah, it's driven by prices, but I don't think it is. There's something, But oh yeah, once we start doing well, the crowds will come back, and
It didn't before, did it? The first season in the Premier League, it did, but the second season it dropped off.
yeah, I
But
don't know.
you've got to have a little bit of faith in these new people. They seem to know what they're doing. And I think even if they don't drop, because attendances aren't everything that's in terms of finances anymore. There's a lot more than attendances. Attendances is like the cream on the cake, because a lot of the money comes through TV, sponsorships, like all the stuff that Blues are doing now, and they're doing really, really well to build up income, is great, and that's brilliant. And therefore, you could perhaps allow the stadium not to be filled and still earn more money, but it's not really great for the football, is it, or for the fan? It's a working man's game, or it's supposed to be. And if you can't afford to go and watch your local football team play, it sort of defeats the object. So I look at Man City and I think they're soulless now.
Yeah, but you look at us with our corporate though; it's sold out every week, and the hunger for that is there, isn't it?
Just knock the fucking Tilton down and make a big corporate area.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Change our name to Corporate City.
But no, I take the point, and you know, because they're selling to the top echelons of people who have got the money to spend. But you can't then lose your core support. You can't forget those people. And this is what pissed me off
Yeah.
last week when we were talking about the stuff I was talking about earlier when I was saying we'd spoken to Jeremy Dale about different aspects of the club, and him saying, well, like the disabled stuff specifically, but other things. You know, the disabled facilities aren't really good at the moment. You know, that in fact they're atrocious. They're fucking terrible, mate. I've seen the photos of it. You know, it's absolutely terrible. And they've tried, but they haven't tried hard enough. Like, you know, the long cords that are in the, you know,
Yeah.
disabled loos. But they're there, but they're still wrapped up and got a notch in them like how they were fitted. So some craftsman has fitted it and just left it like that. So none of the attendants have come round and made it look nice, tidied it up. Now, and then there were never ever any stewards on the toilets. Well, now there are stewards, but the stewards aren't some stewards. If someone's going to go in, you can't use that, mate. It's disabled toilet. I'm disabled. Well, you fucking don't look disabled.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but then you got another one who's really, really good. You know, saying, okay, you know, you do realise there's disabled facilities. Yeah, okay, fine, in you go. So, you know, like, you've got to be a real prick if you go up to one of the stewards and you're about to use the loo, and he says, you do know this is disabled, don't you? And you go, yes, okay, I've got a disability. I go, okay, in you go, mate. You know, that's how you can't do it. You can't ask someone to get the colostomy bag out and fucking show it you, you know.
All right. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it just needs a little bit of sensible stewarding, and it needs some management. And it's all right to put in, you know, look, for it, just say, but I don't mean this literally, but like some scented soap, and just fucking lob it in the sink. Put a cord on the disabled toilet that's fucking 30 feet long with a big nut in it. You know, it needs a little bit more care than that. And it's not beyond them to do it. But it's all right then for the club to say, listen, because what I've done, I don't know if you know what's happened with Assessi Blues and all the two blues groups. They've been disbanded now. The club have knocked them on the head. So the club are going to manage it themselves, right?
So that Access Blues is right. Bloody hell.
Finished. So what they're going to do is form a group of two people from each of the old groups, plus another 3 or 4. And they're going to be, I presume, disabled people of different types. I don't know. This is just what I've heard today, actually, or yesterday. So it's going to be managed by the club, all right? Fine, okay. So, but in the meantime, while they're arranging all this, games are going on where disabled people are still not able to use the toilets, or they're not able to get access to them, or there's pissed up people in there, you know, having a slash. You know, instead of them being properly monitored, because the most important thing isn't arranging a new group of people, it's making sure that those facilities are good now.
Yeah.
You know, it's not beyond them to fucking do that. You know, they can do that easily. But instead, they want to wait until they've got this new grouping. But it could be forever. You know, it's not going to be done overnight, that is. And to meanwhile, it's lucky at the moment because we haven't got a home game for 3 weeks.
Yeah, so they've got a bit of
a little break. Yeah, but we've been on the club's back about it, and we'll continue to do so because it needs attention. You know, that these supporters like everyone else, and it's all right looking after your top brass, who you can't, you know, you've got to. They've completely changed the area of the ground to make it look absolutely fabulous. Meanwhile, there's a fucking great big long cord hanging in the piss in the bottom of the disabled toilets with no toilet paper and the door wide open with no stewards. There was no stewards in there until 2 weeks ago. And we just kept going on at them, put some stewards in. And I think Jake Malbassa is under pressure at the moment. If you don't know who he is, he like worked with Ian.
Yeah.
I didn't mean you, Pete. I meant like anyone that's listening, you know. So Jake Malbassa, Dutton's more or less fucking gone, hasn't he? He's still there at the moment, but he's gone. And I think Jake Malbassa is now thinking, fucking hell, like, you know, my head's on the block next. So he has become very, very responsible. I don't want to make him sound like, but listen, as long as he's responsible, he's doing his job, that's fine. So you get instant responses from him now, which never used to happen. So they're sort of getting it in gear a little bit, but it's no good telling people to wait while they all get their heads together, sort out who's going to do what and do this and that. The way to do it would be just task that job to someone for now. It doesn't matter if they're disabled or not. I know what needs doing. Go in, make sure every toilet has got a proper pull cord for emergencies. It's got all the stuff that's needed in each individual toilet. Put a radar lock on it, and then on that block of toilets, put a steward. There's not that many blocks of toilets. Someone in the next 3 weeks could go and do that, and then get the new disabled group together, which the club will manage, and then run it from there. But they're doing it arse about front. They're going to wait until they've got the new group together and then go in and sort it out. Meanwhile, all the disabled people that have to use the toilets are having to put up with shit still, literally, still having to put up with absolute fucking crap. And they just need someone to look after those facilities. Just wrong, Pete, And I know, like, I pissed Jeremy Dale off. I know I did a couple of weeks ago, writing to him about it. Well, in fact, I wrote to Jake Malbass and copied him, and he jumped in. So I knew he was a bit pissed off, like, and he took over the conversation with me. And I know what he's saying. But unfortunately, we live in the real world. And for him to say we're going to get all these supporters groups together, that's fine. If you want to be under the cloak of the club, because what happens is when that happens is you get no opposition to it. Because they don't get invited to the days at the Blues when they get a free biscuit and a cup of coffee and they get to talk to Jeremy Dale and then go home and then everything's all right. When it isn't, if there's things wrong with the club, you need someone on the outside to fucking tell them. Like, we wouldn't be involved in any kind of, it's not something that we want to do, be involved in any kind of group. We want to stay independent and then we can look in from the outside. You don't have to be, the club doesn't own us, We're supporters just like anyone else. You've got a choice, Pete, what you want to do. And if you want to be a member of supporters club or what, we're exactly the same, And for us, we like to look at it from the outside. And then I think it's more objective if you're looking from the outside than it is from looking from the inside.
Well, when's that next meeting scheduled for? Like we had the initial one that Beck went to. When was that? November the 24th or something, wasn't it? Or
it was just, well, we got it changed, didn't we? Because it was the anniversary of the bombings.
Yeah, so that would have been, they're pretty back for a week for us.
Or 2 weeks, yeah, I can't remember. But it'll be interesting actually to see if we get invited again because we've been a bit of pain in the arse to them and we don't mean to be. I know people will probably think you're fucking Steve, but he's just being a fucking dick trying to cause trouble for the club. And I know people will say that, but we're not. We're really not. All we're trying to do is make an objective stance for supporters that aren't covered by that cloak. The whole thing with like the disabled stuff has dragged on and on and on because it's all sort of done from within. It's like police policing themselves. The club aren't going to kick themselves up the arse. And I don't care what the club says or what anyone else says. There's a lot of people that get involved in these groups and get invited to St Andrews. And fuck me, they lie down and, to use Tony Mowbray, so get the tongue tickled and fucking send them home, It ain't going to happen to us.
Yeah. You don't like your tummy getting tickled then, Steve, no?
Listen, I do. But the thing is, I've got a lot of respect for Jeremy Dale. I always have done. He's one of the people for me that have absolutely saved our club because he was one of the first people that took the initiative on to get these guys involved, when he did often Partisan was his company, and he fired out. He was the man. He was the matchmaker. He's done very well out of it financially, and I think he'll be walking away soon once he's got everything in place. But I've got the greatest respect for Jeremy Dale, and he's got a massive job on his hands. But I'm not going to lie down and have my tummy tickled by anyone, as much as I want him to succeed, and I've got a lot of respect for him. But there's a job to be done, you know, and whoever it is has got to do it. Disabled people, I don't know, like we say before, Pete, about being able to afford go to matches, you know, perhaps concessions, different concessions, more fans able to travel away from home. You know, break the lock on that thing where you can perhaps just get 100 people that haven't travelled before. You know, those sort of things is a big thing to look at, right? So when you sit back and you look at all that, you got to think, fucking hell, like that's a massive job. But to me, the first thing they've got to look at is fucking disabled facilities, because those people are going to matches and they are not having the same facilities offered to them as everyone else gets. And that's just wrong. So forget everything else.
And it's an easy fix. That's the most frustrating thing, isn't it?
It's such an easy fix. You
Yeah.
know, they put all those seats in all the way at the bottom of the grounds, and they couldn't fucking repair, I don't know, 24 disabled toilets.
Yeah.
It's disgraceful, really, isn't it?
It really is, mate. Never mind. Anyway, I've got to get cracking to go and get daughter back now. Then
It's 8 o'clock. Fucking hell.
fucking hell. Oh,
Here.
sorry.
Here.
Yeah. Right. Oh.
The dog's snoring behind me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the real world, in Birmingham world, then it's 7.
Yeah, it is. But it's been quite a sensible one from us tonight, isn't it?
You were saying that? Yeah.
Sensible.
No cross dressers coming in or anything. No.
But where's your normal companion?
He's still here.
See.
Never far away. Likes the tum tickle. Like so. No
Bless
worries.
you.
So, just a couple of things before I go. Then massive shout out to MDA Dance Academy. They're fucking brilliant. Got a great weekend ahead of big national competition. They're going to absolutely storm it, no problem. They're fucking brilliant. And the other, obviously, to offer my personal condolences to someone that we lost, Lorraine.
Yeah, I didn't know her, guys, you know, but obviously she's really well thought of, because I've seen all the stuff that's going on, and God bless her, you know.
Now, you know, I mean, a lot of us, we don't have much choice about becoming blues, do we? You know, it's passed down through your family and it's your local club. I mean, she was a northern girl, but the best compliment I could give her, she was more blues than anybody. She's just her whole persona, and she would go that extra mile to help anybody. She was friendly. She would talk to anybody. An adopted Brummie for a northern lass. And God, did she fight. You know, she did keep right on to the end, bless her. And I know it's touched a lot of people. But yeah, it just another reminder that, you know, live each day. You never know what's round the corner, do you? You know what I mean?
No, you don't. No. So, go on. You got any more?
No, that's it, mate. I'm just going. Yes, it's fucking 7 o'clock. It's not 8 o'clock. I thought I was in some serious shit then, mate.
No, well, it's 8 o'clock here, so yeah. But so Gary never made it, or whoever he is today.
Yeah, it could be something else next week. You never know.
Who knows? Who knows? But it's been great having a chat again, Pete, because we haven't spoken for a few weeks, have we? And
No.
I'm hoping to come over to the UK at some point before the end of the season. So you and I'll have to go to a game together. Definitely, we'll get some tickets or whatever. We'll sort something out.
Yeah, we can test how warm the pies are.
Definitely.
I think we can guess.
Yeah. Well, like, was it? Did I say earlier about we used to get them on the cup, you know, and get up there, and if they're fucking hot, give it them back. You know, what's the matter with this, mate? You know?
Yeah. Why should I be any different to anybody else? Yeah. Brilliant.
It's been great, mate, as usual, and hopefully next week, and hopefully Gary or whoever is going to be with us.
Well, we might be coming down with cup fever. You never know by next week.
You
Get
never know,
Stoke
mate.
away.
You never
Stay
know.
positive. Yeah.
Peace.
All right. You
All
take
the
care,
best,
then,
mate.
mate.
I'll see you
All right.
soon. Ta-ra,
All right,
Pete.
mate.
Bye, mate.
Bye.